Hi everyone, I'm Kiely, president of the Ad Club here in Boston, and you're joining us today on the Big Orange Couch. I'm here today with Alexis Rapo, Vice President of Digital Marketing at WGBH. Thank you for joining us, Alexis.
Thanks for having me on this big orange couch.
Yeah, it is big and it is very orange, right? And we're up against the orange wall.
Yes.
So this is an exciting time for WGBH. You are coming off of, correct me if I'm wrong, 6 Emmy Awards?
6 Emmy Awards for Masterpiece Theater, Downton Abbey. It was a big Emmy season for the group.
You know, if we think about WGBH in the traditional sense, you don't think of it as winning 6 Emmys and red carpet and sexy properties, but that's what's happening at WGBH.
We do. We have incredible properties, and I think out of Boston, you know, I've come from ABC television, and so I've come from Los Angeles, where we do talk about our shows as being big and sexy, and I actually think that there are some very big things and interesting and amazing things about the shows that we produce out of Boston, and there's a wide range of them that we do here. We do shows like Frontline, Masterpiece Theater, American Experience, Antiques Roadshow, and they're big shows, and I'm not sure that everyone knows that those come out of Boston, and that's in addition to all the local programming we do from a television standpoint, from a radio standpoint.
Tell me a little bit about why you're back, because I know you, when you hear your title, Head of Digital at WGBH, it's not the first thing that comes to everyone's mind, digital and interactive media. Talk to us about your job and what your goals are for WGBH.
You know, it's an interesting time. We're in a time of media where there is massive disruption, many new players coming into the landscape, and those players are everything from things that fall into the category of technology, things that fall into the category of people like you and I who have become producers of content that weren't previously, distribution technologies that are changing the landscape dramatically. And so this was an opportunity, I think, to come into WGBH and to look at our vast array of properties from a national standpoint, from a local standpoint, radio, television, and look at the gamut of what we do, educational, children's television, and try and figure out new ways that we look at that content and further the way that we deliver that to consumers in different mediums.
Have you tapped into anything in mobile media?
Yes, certainly. So this past year, PBS launched an iPad app and an iPhone app, which has been wildly successful. They've had hundreds of thousands of downloads in the last year. And our programs traditionally are the most highest viewed on those platforms. And you know, the iPad experience especially is a different viewing experience. It's different from your phone. It's not short consumption. It is that climb into bed, before I go to sleep sort of experience of being able to watch longer form programs. And we have been able to tap an audience that is able to consume on their time, in their place, in their way, and our shows are among the highest ranked on that app.
So GBH is getting very edgy in how they integrate all of this programming.
Yeah, I think we continue to get smarter and savvier, and I think a lot of it has to do with listening to what the marketplace is demanding, listening to what our sponsors want and why they partner with us on this type of content and this type of experience. I think we're creating content that is different from commercial television content, and I think it's a place that sponsors and brands want to be.
So to that point, you know, you're saying that you're different than the traditional. Who do you see as your competition? Do you have competition?
We're in competition for people's time. We're in competition with devices and with programming from sources that didn't exist 5 years, 10 years ago, digital-only sources, apps, games, time-shifted content. So we're really in competition for people's time. And trying to build experiences that bring them closer to us and bring them into the fold in terms of what we're doing.
It strikes me too, the GBH content is content that people like to come back to time and time again. They like to collect it, it seems to me, and then come back to it time and time again. Is that an added value for people who are sponsors?
I think it's absolutely an added value. When we look at our content and we look at the tail on our content, the long tail of our content, ours actually is extremely long because much of what we create in some cases is timeless. If you look at NOVA, for example, and the experiences that we're creating and the stories that we're telling in science, we're certainly telling the greatest stories I think you can tell from a science standpoint, and science is ever evolving and new discoveries are being made. but there's also elements of it that are timeless, and people come back, and we are amazed when we look at our traffic numbers, the content that people are consuming from years back and how high that ranks in terms of what is still in the list of favorites for consumers. I also think that as public television, we've been very mindful of the rights that we get around our content, and we have longer term rights on our content, which is purposeful in terms of being able to deliver continued experiences to our consumers that hopefully are evergreen and more everlasting than some.
So with some of these hot shows, and the big one that you had mentioned is this Downton Abbey.
Yes.
With the 6 Emmys. So when you go out and you are talking to sponsors,
yep.
What kinds of things can you now offer them that you couldn't offer them before as sponsors?
One of the things that we've created this year for sponsors to be able to outline for them all of the opportunities, and I think they will find things that are surprising there that they don't know about WGBH from a sponsorship standpoint, can be found at a site that we launched this year, which is sgptv.org. So we outline many things there, but what part of the process would be in terms of sitting down, we have a new sponsor that's coming on for Masterpiece, and it's always, I think, the most beneficial when we sit down together as a content team, a digital team, a sponsorship team, and the advertiser, and we start to lay all of our cards on the table. It's very similar to what we do in our marketing process. What assets do we have? Assets can be everything from what are content assets, what are databases, what are our collective outreach opportunities in terms of our collective Facebook fans, Twitter fans, you name it.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much, Alexis,
thank you.
for
It was
joining
great
us
to be here
today on the Big Orange Couch. And I have something, a little gift for you.
A gift.
That we give everyone who sits on the Big Orange Couch.
Very nice.
I sat on the Big Orange Couch, and you won't see many of these around Boston.
I love it. No, I feel special.
So that's for you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you all for joining us once again on the Big Orange Couch.